Every Tuesday. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning for 1 Million Cups. We are not sure where our presenter has wandered off to, so we're going to do something a little different today. First off, we'll go ahead and go through and we'll do the normal introductions, do some quick introductions, and then we'll move on to some lightning presentations. So I know we've got a couple of folks here that have presented before. We'll try and drag them up if they're willing to give just like a 5-minute presentation on where they're at now. And then if anybody else wants to pop up after that, we'll kick you up. So,
or maybe our presenter will show up.
Or maybe our presenter will show up. Fingers crossed. Danny has a question.
Chuck over here is an intellectual property attorney. He's not listening. Chuck, you're just saying the person presenting today was an IP.
Dan was offering you.
So I just volunteered you.
So you're up.
Well, you know, I'm kind of
all right, so quick thanks to our sponsors, Drain Bank for the space and Starting Block for the continued support. Don't forget to grab the 1 Million Cups app and check in. And with that, we'll do some quick introductions. My name is Truzzy. I am the MC, one of the co-organizers here at 1 Million Cups. I'm also a software engineering consultant and a live streamer. You can catch me on Twitch every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m.
My name's Joey. I'm a technology investment manager with Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation.
My name is Josh Halley. My firm Rootstock Partners works with startups on software product strategy.
My name is Derek, and I'm the founder of Field 59. I'm also a streamer, apparently. Is that
yeah.
Dreamer. Co-organizer.
I'm Nate Shields, co-founder of School Dispatch. We help school districts automate their absence reporting process. That's
right. You don't want to.
I'm Steve Claude. I'm just here as a fanboy of Truzzy on Twitch.
Fanboy?
And a co-founder of 32 Auctions, which is a website for hosting fun, easy, successful silent auctions.
That's secondary to the first one.
collaborative. One word.
Online.
Peter Cabby, not nearly as exciting as Stephen Kurt. I'm a wealth manager.
Kurt hasn't gone there.
Sorry. But I am wondering who put you up to shaving the beard?
It just happened.
The new look. Wow. That's streamlined aerodynamic.
Yeah. Spring cleaning.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Good morning. Heather Ewing, White Box Commercial Property Group, Retail Real Estate in the downtown.
Chuck Sarah.
And today's presenter.
Impromptu. Yeah. Take it away, Chuck. I heard a yes.
Awesome. John Halt, Mass Caves Fire and Rescue Training Products.
Dan, I'm an accountant with Baker Tilly.
Kurt Peterson, co-founder of 32 Auctions.
James Cademan, I have calls on call, a shared reception service. I don't answer phones. Somebody else
Matt Noack, IoT Consulting. Recently started working on the IoT platform.
I'm John Fenley. I flew in from Utah when I heard about Murfie shutting down, and I think I've rescued the company at this point. I'm restarting it, and
I think we have today's presenter.
I've been live streaming like over 100 hours in the last couple weeks.
Wow!
Trying to like live stream everything that I'm doing.
So are you who bought?
Huh?
Are you who bought the assets of Murfie?
I bought all the assets of Murfie. Yeah.
Worked with our team then.
I see a team
Co-presenter.
We're ready.
That's me.
Welcome.
Jesús Velasco, founder of Cantera IT Solution. We provide help businesses with the IT posture.
All right.
So, sort of in all seriousness, not to put you on the spot as our
you want to talk about?
Would you? Sure. I mean.
Yeah. Come on up. Come on up.
All right. I don't know.
All right. Let's hear it for Neil Murphy.
I read the article on in The Verge. A couple hours later, I had a plane ticket to Madison. I didn't know anybody here, and my intent was just to knock on doors. And but I got an appointment Monday morning, and met everybody involved, and was able to come up with a plan to save all the discs. It took a little while to like restart everything to the point where the plan could execute. But they worked miracles behind the scenes because the company had like basically completely dissolved, and it was like there was a lot of debt, and they were able to pull everything together to get a deal that everybody could agree to transfer all the assets to me. I have been independently developing a similar service in Utah for way too long, like more than 10 years. And I never really launched it back in Utah. Partly because what I built was a tech prototype that wasn't really scalable, it was not well designed. So what I'm doing now is I've got all of their code, I'm taking all of their design work, plugging in all the stuff that I had worked on into the back end, rewriting the whole thing from scratch. It's going really fast, and I'm hoping to actually get it up to the point where people can start streaming music again by the end of the week. And this is all,
In that regard, if we had Murfie before and were able to listen to our stuff, would we be able to do that again?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
I can see right now, it won't let me log in.
Yeah, so you can actually
go. Give Dan access.
So right now, I've got a dev site up. If you go to Murfie.com, there's a link, and it'll forward over to Crossies. But there's a link at the top to a dev site, and you can click that link, and it'll go to the new site that I've been building. And you can log in there, and you can actually just see a list of your discs right now. But you can't stream there yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. But hopefully by the end of the week, I'll actually be able to get the streaming going. I've got a computer and data center in Utah that was just installed. I just got the OS installed like Friday, and I was copying files from my server all weekend. And as soon as I get the code together, so that people can agree to the terms of service, the new terms of service, and the new pricing, at least all the stuff that I ripped in Utah will be accessible. My plan is to get some of the servers and computers they've got in the warehouse right now, ripping disks as fast as I can. Now that I've got access, I got access like yesterday, finally to the warehouse. There were some challenges with the landlord still over insurance. They wouldn't let me in without proof of insurance, so I had to get an insurance policy, and as soon as they got that certificate, I was able to get access. So
I'm curious. I mean, this is like at least the third birth of Murfie, and it sounds like you've been kind of watching the space. Well, I think so. I mean, it's been a few. Really, I've been through a few cycles.
Okay.
I'm just really curious, like, if you could share some of your thinking. So you're sitting there in Utah, you see this news article, and you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. What was the strategy? Obviously, you have a plan, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically the same thing that they were doing, only I have different back-end technology that I've worked on. I control access to the files differently than they do. I have a different storage paradigm. They were using a lot of cloud storage, so it was pretty expensive. I'm going to manage my own servers because I know how to do that. And like all the code for ripping is all code that I wrote myself like a number of years ago. It's really efficient, lets me rip disks really fast. So I have a lot of stuff in place already that just wasn't. I mean, I didn't have a designer. My site looks terrible, and I never had like funds to like hire a designer or like investment money or anything like that. So it was just kind of like sitting on the shelf for like a really long time while I worked on other projects. But now that I'm basically scraping Murfie's site and like plugging my stuff into their, like I'm actually just like copy pasting their CSS and like plugging in a lot of stuff. I'm using their site as a template Jinja template in Flask.
So are you thinking that it's roughly the same product?
Oh yeah, it'll be basically the same. Yeah.
So then, okay, aside from the technical efficiencies, are you going to change the business model? Because I think that was part of the problem. It wasn't really performing the way they wanted it to.
Yeah. So there are a couple things that I'm going to be doing differently than Murfie. One of the things that they were doing that I don't necessarily agree with is they were giving they were like doing the rip and return kind of thing, where people could send in their discs and they'd like rip the discs and give them a thumb drive with their music and send all this discs back. I kind of view the service I'm going to be building as the ocean, where all of media in the world will eventually flow downhill the path of least resistance into my warehouse, where everyone will now have access. The pricing is going to be rock bottom. It'll be competitive with, like, way cheaper than any streaming service that you've ever used or could even imagine right now, because all the licensing is tied to the media. So I'm not paying a royalty to the artist because they've already been compensated through the first sale of that media that was produced under copyright law. So basically, I just have to pay the bandwidth, and that's all I'm going to charge the customers is for bandwidth. The bandwidth is cheap. The storage, physical storage, I have my own warehouse that I'm buying in Arkansas. That's like 220,000 square feet. Like, I can store the media, it's super cheap. And then with the server infrastructure, managing it myself, the cloud storage component is going to be super cheap as well. So my pricing is going to be 1 cent per disk per month for the first 100 disks, and then 1/10 of a cent per disk after that per month for storage.
Oh.
And then for storage. And then for access, I'm going to be charging 1 cent per month per disk with a $1 maximum. So if you've got like 1,000 disks, it's going to cost you like $2 for storage and $1 for streaming access, and then whatever bandwidth you use. So like $3 plus bandwidth. And if you've got 5 disks, it'll cost you 10 cents a month plus bandwidth. So
is it just discs, or is it also LPs?
I might have to charge a little bit more for storage of LPs.
How about playing?
Huh? Bandwidth.
Bandwidth?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where did you acquire the funds to buy out when you mentioned that you had your, if you say back of house, the back portion of it, and just financially it wasn't good enough. Who did you talk to, or how did you?
So I have real estate holdings in Utah, and that's basically covering everything. I had a modest amount of savings, not enough to buy a brand new car, but I had it in cash and it was available, so I was able to like execute quickly on making a deal.
Real estate savings again?
Yeah, real estate. And actually, the warehouse I'm buying in Arkansas.
Would you let go?
The warehouse I'm buying in Arkansas, I wouldn't actually be able to buy it if I hadn't had a clear property in Utah. I was able to get a loan on that because like doing an out-of-state real estate deal, like I couldn't get a loan in Arkansas. I couldn't get a loan in Utah. I couldn't coordinate that. I had to get a loan on a separate piece of property in Utah that had freaking cleared.
How many semi-loads will it take to transport all that, everything that's here to Arkansas?
I have 2 shipping containers that are sitting in the parking lot outside the warehouse right now, and I'm thinking that it'll all fit in those 2 shipping containers.
Really?
Yeah, 2 40-foot shipping containers.
Now, who actually owns it? You own it, right?
I own the company.
Well, I mean, so who owns the actual media? I mean, if somebody gives you a disc to then rip it and digitize it,
they own it. That person still owns it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just store it. I should say just. But then what happens so then I want to listen to the music on the disc that somebody else, Josh just gave you a disc. He said, digitize it. I'm like, I want to listen to that music too. Does that work or no?
So there will be a marketplace, and it's actually, so it'll be different than the way Murfie was doing their sales as well. They had like a shop where people could have their shop and sell their discs. The marketplace that I'm going to be building is going to be more like a stock market, where each album is like a commodity, and then you're buying and selling based on price, and you'll be able to do market limit orders for buying and selling whatever album you want. So you'll be able to put in an offer. If somebody wants to sell Madonna Ray of Light for $5, I'll just put my money out there, and anybody that wants to claim that $5 and give me their album can do it. You know, so like
StockX-ish.
Yeah.
For music.
Yeah.
I know at one point they bought a bunch of CDs, like Murfie was buying stuff up from like Goodwill. That's probably stuff they were using to then sell to other customers. Right?
Yeah, they were doing that.
Okay.
And I have all that stuff here. A lot of it's not organized and numbered and cataloged yet, so.
Got some work there.
Yeah.
Arkansas with the warehouses, is that just where you found one, or is there?
Yeah, I actually went on LoopNet. It's a commercial real estate website, and I was looking for a piece of property over 65,000 square feet, and I sorted by price, lowest to highest, and I saw this place. I saw this place in Arkansas, and I'm like, I'm moving to Arkansas. And the price was so low. The price was so low, I thought it was a typo. I called the agent to make sure it wasn't a typo. And it wasn't a typo.
You didn't buy the building, or you're just renting it?
I'm buying it.
You're buying it?
I flew out to Arkansas to take a look, and you know,
I have a lot of remediation.
I don't know. I mean, like I keep getting warned about this, but like I walked around, I didn't see anything, you know, out of. But yeah.
So you've kind of talked about your overheads from a technology perspective. What about your overhead from a business perspective outside of technology?
I don't have any employees. I'm doing all the work myself.
So from a business scalability, say this takes off, and people start throwing a bunch of disks at you. You've got mailing to handle, you've got storage to handle, ripping. Yeah. Eventually you may have to worry about employees. Does your pricing model afford you to be able to do that?
Yes. Yeah. All the systems I'm building are going to be really easily trained. Like it'll be really easy to train somebody to do the ripping. Basically, it's going to be like there's going to be like 3 options of things you can do. You'll be able to put a disk in a drive, and then you'll have like a little card that will actually you'll scan a barcode, and then it'll rip the disk. Or you put the cover on the scanner, and you scan a different barcode, and it'll scan that and do all the conversion and upload it. So there's like it's going to be like so. I got to make it so easy that I can like do it while I'm like walking past the machine, you know, where I can like swap a disk and then like scan a barcode and like go to the next machine and like swap a disk and scan a barcode and like so like it'll be like super fast from that standpoint. And
so, I mean, if I understood your pricing discussion before, bandwidth would be a variable cost from the perspective of the customer. Yeah. Can you give us a ballpark? Like, let's say that I'm going to stream, 5 hours a day on average. What
are you streaming? FLAC files?
Sure.
Okay.
Comparison.
So FLAC files run about 300 megabytes for a CD, which is like 3 cents. So that'd be like 3 cents an hour. Okay. So it costs you 15 cents to stream 5 hours of FLAC.
Okay. So I'm still like, even then going back to your earlier example, 1,000 disks stored, I've got my $3, 5 hours a day on average is a lot, but 15 cents a day times 30 is still not. I mean, I'm still like well under a Spotify Premium subscription with lossless streaming. Interesting. Now, sorry, just one more question. How does that compare, like, if I were paying Murfie a month ago or 2 months ago when they existed, how much would I have been paying them for something similar to that?
I think it was about 30 cents a day for a normal subscription, and like 45 cents a day for the higher range. So that would have been like all day streaming, same cost. If you were streaming all day.
So how do you handle all the fees? It just seems like there's a lot of microtransactions. So are you getting hit with fees on each transaction, or do you bill it like monthly, or what does that look like?
So this is going to be like, this is actually like something I came up with like way back. And I realized I don't have to charge anybody, ever. I don't have to ever force anybody to pay me a dime because I have an asset of theirs. I basically am a secured creditor at that point. And I can allow their balance to go negative. All I do is, if their balance is negative, I don't let them stream. They can't access the music if their balance is negative. In order to like go back positive, they can sell some media on the marketplace, and they'll get somebody else's credits to like bring their balance back positive so they can stream again. I anticipate that like there will be a few people that like pay me several $1,000s like all at once, and then they're like buying CDs from all the other people that have sent in a bunch of CDs and are just selling like a CD every once in a while to fund their account.
Are you going to be getting hit with a lot of fees though, like credit card fees or anything like that?
No, like I'm basically going to be crediting somebody's account with the amount that I get after the merchant account takes their fee.
What's going to happen to the people that are wanting their assets back? And now, is that a separate operation? So it's like they would have to pay to get like $200 to get their stuff back. Is that part of what you're doing, or is that separate?
Yeah, I will be doing that. I can't really do it until I get stuff to Arkansas, because right now I'm paying rent on this warehouse. It's like $1,200 a month, and the calculation that I did is that at the rate that the MCRS return service was charging for returns, and the speed at which you can do a return, that amount that people were paying doesn't cover the rent for the time that you're doing the return. So I have to get all the stuff to Arkansas. Once I own the warehouse, then I'll be honoring the returns for at least 5 years.
Okay.
Like so, if people want their return, if they like have to have it before I move the stuff to Arkansas, I will like work with somebody to like it's going to cost more than but it's going to cost more for me to basically drop what I'm doing and like work on that instead of the website or like other things that I'm doing. And I would work just directly on somebody's collection to the exclusion of everything else until their collection was returned.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background? You're obviously a software engineer, but like, do you do this often, or
like fly out to random places?
Right.
Yeah, actually, I kind of do. A few years ago, I got involved in a cryptocurrency, and I was supposed to get a whole bunch of it, and they kind of cheated me. They never gave me the coins that I was supposed to get, and I got kind of fed up with it. And I don't want to see people I don't want to see situations where somebody's losing out, or somebody is like getting cheated or losing something. So actually, every place that this cryptocurrency has been appearing anywhere in the country for the last like 2 years, I've been flying out to wherever they're at, like holding up signs like saying, "Don't trust these people." So it's kind of been like, yeah. And now they can't show their faces anywhere in America, and they're actually rebranding their entire like blockchain.
Which one is it?
NEM.
Okay.
NEM, and they're rebranding to Symbol. But yeah, so like I kind of got fed up with injustice and like people like imposing deadlines arbitrarily, and like any type of situation where there's really somebody getting hurt. So when I saw, like, basically that was like one of the main reasons I came out here, was when I saw that people were going to lose their CDs. I couldn't let that happen. It's the industry that I want to be in, and I saw it as a great injustice. So I had to come out here and do something about it. And I like to think that I would do that in a different industry. I'm not sure that I would, but yeah, I don't want to see people get cheated or lose their assets.
So I believe it was published in the paper what your purchase price was, and it was some insanely low for, sounds like what you're getting, but I'm not sure what it is that you're getting, because if the company dissolved, right, they had all this debt, you didn't purchase that debt, is my understanding, is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
And they already said that they gave basically a weekend for people to send their $100 plus change per disc in order to get it back. So if they didn't do that by that weekend, do you outright own all that media now for that?
No. All that media is still owned by the customers.
What about if Murfie would have just shut the doors? At that point, it sounded like that no one owned the media.
Yes. Well, so that was the situation that I was kind of coming into back in December. Like that was kind of what the Verge article was saying. Like, if the landlord doesn't get paid, they're going to like toss the stuff in the dumpster.
Yeah, there's a lot of creditors. It was pretty complicated.
Yeah, it was a big deal, and honestly, they did work wonders behind the scenes to like make the deal happen. But if the landlord hadn't gotten paid and that situation had kind of like collapsed completely, my backup plan to save all the media was to like act as the landlord's disposal agent. And at that point, legally, if they don't get paid and they do the legal eviction, then all the stuff in the warehouse becomes their property legally. And then I could act as their disposal agent. And I was able to get a copy of the database at that point. And my goal was, if it does collapse completely, I'm going to do my best to get all the media back to the customers or restart the service anyway, just not as Murfie, as Crossies, which is the company I've been trying to work with.
John, when you say database, do you mean all the burnt, all the music? Is that
no, like all the records of like who owns what disc and their name and email and
a specific example. I was a customer, but I got all my stuff back.
Okay.
I never had it stored.
Okay.
It burned, so I've been listening to it. And is it correct? I won't be able to going forward since.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I will only be able to provide streaming or download access to people that have their media in the warehouse.
Or bring it
back to me.
Because you're not transferring the ripped, you're not transferring the actual content. You're just moving the metadata and then you're going to re-rip?
Yeah, actually, so their Murphy's cloud storage provider is kind of holding all the files hostage, and I don't have enough money to pay them, so yeah, I'm going to re-rip everything.
So I just want to finish up on the thought that I had though. So I mean, from a legal standpoint, does each person, like all the customers, still own their media?
Yeah.
So even after the whole dissolving and stuff, and all of the debt and stuff was paid outside of you, it had nothing to do with your purchase.
Yeah, the debt is released.
So you were able to swoop in, buy that company.
You know, he didn't buy the company.
He bought the assets.
So he doesn't assume any liabilities.
Yeah. And actually, I was like really astounded when I started reading about the asset transfer laws, and apparently like there was a really recent Supreme Court case here in Wisconsin that like really solidified that in an asset transfer, the creditors can't come after the successor company.
So you've been working with the debt holders, but have you been put in touch with the original founders of Murfie?
I have not met any of the original founders. Just the people that were kind of handling things at the time. And a few.
How are you gonna find?
How am I going to find?
I mean, how are you going to find what somebody comes back to you and says, yeah, rip all my stuff? Is it organized in the warehouse in a way that you'd be able to find?
Oh yeah, it's really organized. Like all the discs are numbered. They're in numbered boxes on the shelves, and there's like 2 numbers on each box, and you can see every disc that's in that box, the serial number basically, and you can look it up in the database.
So it takes a customer to come back to you and say, hey, this is my name. I'd like you to rip all of my stuff. Put it on your site.
Well, stuff that's already in the warehouse, I'm just going to go through and rip it all anyway. And I'm not gonna. I mean, like, I've got to have it accessible. So as soon as they sign up for the terms of service, I'll have it accessible to them. Yeah.
Well, you know, Murfie bragged about the high quality of the sound. Will it be the same? I mean, it really was good. It was like album quality or CD quality.
Yeah, they had a lot of FLAC files. That's free lossless audio codec. Okay. It's a lossless CD quality format. You can actually recreate the WAV file that you get off the CD from the FLAC, like bit for bit.
It's like literally the same thing.
Yeah,
it's what you would hear out of your serial.
Yeah.
It's not compressed like anything.
Oh, it's not okay. Thanks. So that's what.
Yeah, it'd be the same quality.
We'll do like 3 more questions.
Okay.
Can you tell me about the logistics of new customers sending CDs to you, you ripping them, storing them in Arkansas while you live in Utah?
Oh, I'm moving to Arkansas.
You're moving to Arkansas?
Yeah, I'm moving to Arkansas.
For this?
The deal was good enough, the real estate deal was good enough, I'm moving to Arkansas.
So you're living in the warehouse?
I'm going to be living in the warehouse, yeah. 24-hour security.
And disc ripper.
Yeah, disc ripper. Yeah, I'll wake up and like switch the disc and like go back to sleep. Yeah.
So legally, if I understand right, first sale covers you provide royalty-free streaming to whoever owns it at the time.
Yeah.
So in Peter's example, he buys the disc from me. Now you can stream it to him legally. You can't stream it to me anymore.
Yeah, I think it's first sale plus fair use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. It's fair use that you
yeah.
well,
yeah.
Maybe I should try to guess. Yeah. With the actual IP attorney. But I guess my question is, FLAC, if I understand right, technically has no DRM hooks. So when you're FLAC streaming my content back to me, we're all legal. Nothing that you can do is stopping me from, say, capturing those FLAC streams before I sell the disc to Peter. In other words, there's a sense in which, I mean, a Napster, and a sentence without judgment, a Napster-like effect could occur. It wouldn't be on you if it did, right?
My goal is to make the service so easy to use and so awesome to like own the media and be able to just stream it wherever you want, that it's more, like the inconvenience of having to try to save that file on your hard drive, and then you got to keep track of it and build some other kind of thing to like keep track of the files that you don't you have on your hard drive and access them that way. It's like, I mean, you could kind of build something to do that on Netflix maybe. You could probably do like a screen grabber or some kind of thing and like capture the audio. You could probably do that with Netflix and store, you know, copies of the things you're streaming on Netflix, but it's really inconvenient and it doesn't work as well as Netflix does. There's really no point if Netflix is, you know, you just got the Netflix subscription. So point is, the idea is to make it just so easy that the barrier to like somebody starting to like be a pirate that way is just not as good.
Plus, it's not your problem.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, you could do that yourself if you had physical access to the disc.
That's right. I mean, nothing stops me from ripping a disc and then selling it on eBay, and I still have the copies. And I mean, it's, you know.
Yep, it's up to you. It's up to the individual user to respect copyright laws.
Right. All right. Last question right here.
What is your marketing plan? How are you going to find new customers?
Get in the news as much as possible. That's about it. I don't have a marketing budget.
Speak at 1 million cups.
Yeah, speak at 1 million cups.
Pay the other person to not show up and take over.
That's my plan.
All right, well, let's hear it. Are you gonna hang out for a little bit after the thing?
Yeah, I'm here for like another couple months probably. Like,